Welcome to Plot Roast with your hosts, Mick Manhattan and Casey the Madman Plot, where a couple of friends watch some movies and tell some jokes about them. Thanks for joining, and now your host.
Welcome, everybody, to the Plot Roast. I am your host, Mick Manhattan. Normally, I'm joined by my cohort in crime, Mr. Casey the Man Plot, but he is gone. He's sick, so I had to get an improvement, an upgrade. I brought the 2.0, Mr. Brian Patrick, my partner from Pulling Focus podcast. What is up, buddy?
Hey, man, how's it going? I don't know if it's an upgrade or not. Let's call it a lap move just in case Casey watches
this. Listen, there's only one thing better than watching the Stupids.
What's that?
That is not watching the Stupids. No, it's being able to make fun of it.
I wholly concur. Message is authentic.
Listen, I want to thank Paul. Thank you, Paul, our patron who recommended this. But I also want to say, damn you, Paul, for recommending this. This is our first, lack of a better term, stupid movie that we've watched.
Give me a recap. What have you seen so far?
We watched Mannequin, which turned out to be way more problematic than we remembered.
Didn't age well.
Did not age well at all in any way, shape, or form. But still, there's still nostalgia there. The 80s had a lot of problems. Our next one,
80s was a unique time for sure.
They really were. There's so many movies we could just discuss, and you can watch and listen to us discuss them on Pulling Focus podcast. But we did Halloween Kills, which was the newest Halloween. So we had an old movie, an 80s movie, then a new movie, and now we're in the 90s with the Stupids.
Yeah.
The John Landis directed Tom Arnold vehicle that just did not land in 1994 for whatever reason.
I know the reason is freaking horrible.
I'm trying to decide if this, because there was another movie that came out in 1994 starring two really famous comedians, and that was Clifford with Martin Short and Charles Grodin.
Okay.
Literally the movie that made Charles Grodin retire from acting. He only showed up as favors to people after that, But
that's what a good movie can do for your career.
But unfortunately, this movie, The Stupids, did not make Tom Arnold or John Landis retire, and it should have.
Yeah, it was really bad. I don't think anyone came out of this movie doing well. I couldn't even find a copy because I wasn't going to pay for it. I found a copy on YouTube with Italian subtitles, and the only person who's ever made a dime off of this movie is whoever put that up, because it's got 378,000 views somehow.
Somehow somebody just makes one channel and puts the Stupids up, and they have way more YouTube subscribers than me. So,
well, it has been up for a long time.
That's fair.
But
yeah, honestly, I did not know this was based on a children's book series.
Not me either. And I own a bookstore called The Stupids.
Yeah, they have different titles, but The Stupids are where it starts. So it's The Stupids. The Stupids die. The Stupids step out, and the Stupids take off. Which one was first? I have no idea. So I'm still trying to figure that out myself.
Yeah.
But,
well, news to me, books are supposed to be entertaining and educational, but that just seems like a manual for disaster to me.
Oh yeah, something tells me that this just didn't land in many ways. But I never read the Stupids books, but so I guess they're more popular enough, and better than I do. But books, when you have a children's book and it becomes a series, it's probably taken off. It's probably been pretty good, because you're not going to get that second try if the first one didn't do well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if the movie came out in 94, 95, something like that, the books were probably a decade older than that, maybe.
Yeah.
At least 1990. I don't know. Maybe there was just enough of a market.
The Stupids Die paperback came out in April 29th, 1985.
Hey, a decade.
Not bad. See,
Look at the book guy. Look at the book guy.
Yeah, but when you go to that and you see, it's based on a children's book, I don't get that. Did not transfer over for me.
No, not at all.
So I don't think it was trying to help book sales in any way, shape, or form. This was definitely not geared towards children.
You know what? Maybe Max Landis enjoyed the books and he just convinced his dad to make the movie. Maybe. I don't know.
I hope that's not the case. Sorry, Max. I like your your books, but let's get over it. Let's get out of here and stop this.
Stop the madness. Well, let's do a quick recap. Give me your 2-sentence plot of the movie, The Stupids.
I have no idea. No. No. Okay. So what I took away from it was this very stupid family who are just ignorant to how the world works, stumble upon a conspiracy thinking while they were investigating a garbage conspiracy into an arms smuggling conspiracy. And then they have an assassination attempt put out on them. And the entire movie is them trying to unfold everything. But it's the wrong mystery that they're trying to solve. Like they're trying to see, this is so stupid. They're trying to, okay. So they think their garbage is being stolen. So he follows the garbage.
And that must be stopped.
It must be stopped. Let's just start there. Let's just go point by point. We'll just cover like the basics.
All right, hit me.
So, and we talked about this before about like there's some good jokes that don't land in this because I think everything overall is just really dumb. So when you have this big dome of dumbness covering your whole movie, all the little jokes, little nuances that you kind of put together, like when she's talking into she's talking in a tape recorder, recording herself, and she goes, and at the end,
I'm laughing.
She does the whole thing. She does the whole narration really well about this investigation she's trying to do. The wife, Mrs. Stupid or whatever, and she goes, and remind myself to pick up an actual tape recorder with batteries because then I can stop talking into the garage door opener. And she hits the button to stop it from recording, and it lifts somebody's random garbage, like knocks over a guy painting it. Like, so those are funny jokes, but when your overall movie is stupid, the whole plot makes no sense. You're like, they're just not enough.
That movie is just one dumb joke after another, and I think strategically placed in a less intentionally dumb movie, some of those would have landed. Like, note to self: get a tape recorder so I'm not talking to a garage door opener. Click, guy falls. Great. That's your one. What's your one dumb joke for Act 1?
Yeah, well, but there were a few. So like when he walks out, like when they wake up in the morning and they're sleeping the wrong way, I feel like that's the children books reference. That's like the ridiculousness there. But when he walks out and he's got the checklist and he's like, all right, what's on my list for today? Put a check next to something. And then, and then it's like, then
cross something off.
Something like that. And he's just like, and then say the phrase, well, this seems odd, but I'll go with it anyway. And he says it because it is an odd thing to write down. And a better comedian's hands and a better story would have landed 100%. Like, could you imagine Abbott Costello doing that? That would have landed.
I guess.
I like that your window of comedians is just like, it's so stupid here, I don't believe it works anywhere else.
Yeah, I think this is universally bad and could not be pulled off by anyone.
Listen, it's bad when I think that The Stupids is the worst thing John Landis has ever done. And anybody who knows John Landis and the fact that he killed 2 children and a man with a helicopter, me saying that this is the worst thing he's ever done says something.
This is the worst thing he's ever done to the world as a whole.
I don't know. Vic Morrow was a really great guy. But yeah, this movie for me watching it through, I went into it and I'm like, I don't know anything about this. I remember it coming out when I was younger, but it was not one that was on my radar or wanted to pay attention to. So finally sitting down and watching it with fresh eyes, I was astonished at how bad it was.
Well, the only thing I knew about it was that I knew that song "I'm My Own Grandpa."
Yes,
That was
I
like
videos
that was in the trailer or something, or maybe even MTV. I don't know, because Tom Arnold kind of ingratiated himself to MTV for a while there.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's kind of funny. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to see that.
Tom Arnold seems like a guy who's always generationally off in some way. He never fit. Like when he was the slobbish guy married to Roseanne, it was like, all right, it works. But then like he tried to reinvent himself and all this, and like he became angry guy, and then he became stupid comedian, and then he became this, like fitting himself. I remember when he fit himself into like the MTV culture, and it was just kind of like, it's kind of like a bunch of kids hanging out and their uncle just kind of standing in the corner. That's what Tom Arnold is to me. He's always like that uncle that just kind of hangs out, and you're like, he's my uncle. You know,
he's cool. Give him a chance.
Just not even cool. Just like you're just kind of like, just stay away from him.
Oh, he's that uncle, huh?
Don't feed the animals as you go past them, sort of uncle. You know, like it's a problem.
Don't go buy him smokes. Don't give him booze.
Don't invite girls over to the house because he's there.
Yeah, especially don't invite ladies over.
you know, and I'm not saying that's Tom Arnold as a whole, but as he's carried himself, like he always just seemed generationally off. Like,
yeah,
he's had some, like, I thought he was great in McHale's Navy. I was like, oh, this works. This is like your one.
True Lies. He was great in True Lies. You know,
yeah, I mean,
minor role, but
his minor roles, I think he lands. And when he plays that side comedy character, it works.
Mm-hmm.
When he's in like right in the middle, right here, right the star of it, like in The Stupids, it's like, nah, this doesn't work.
Yeah, it's even hard to really agree with that, because like he may have acted it perfectly. You know, it was just bad from the start. You know, so he's on this mission to find out who's stealing their garbage. It's the garbage people who are supposed to take it. He ends up at the landfill, and I don't know, he thinks these terrorists and these US military people are like working on a deal to sell garbage or something instead of arms, which is what they're really doing. And you know, he's in his powder blue suit with his hat and the whole deal, you know, and not blending in whatsoever, but not really being outed. And he ends up they think he's a super spy. Like, it starts off, they're sleeping in the bed upside down, you know, head at the foot of the bed, feet sticking out. Like, they get up and just, it's all bad. You know, none of it makes any sense. How'd they get a house? How'd they have kids? How'd they get a car and driver's license? You know, like, these people are that dumb. Yeah. How do they just luck into everything?
And because none of that makes sense. You're right, because you get down to it and you're like, you're following them. Even their neighbors are kind of like, what do you think? It's just your garbage. Calm down. Like, how do you have this? But there's so much to this stupid movie that just kind of, they keep plucking from different things, like the aliens, like that whole side thing when the aliens showed up and they saw somebody wrote an article about them that was unfavorable.
I forgot that. I forgot the claymation alien part.
Yeah, like I get it's John Landis, and he, you know, if anything he took from Twilight Zone, it probably shouldn't have been all of like the claymation animation. It should have been Don't Fly Helicopters. But yeah, with all of that, John Landis comes in and he's got the aliens and such in there, and he's got like the dog and the cat that are animated. And I'm like, what are you going for? Because it's like you're trying to get us to take this family seriously, but doing nothing to make us like care about them. Even like the kids, you're just kind of like, shut up. Like, what are you doing? You're so stupid. Go to school. The entire time you're watching it. But as you go through it and you're just kind of, paying attention, and I have to stumble learn this because I'm like, there's so much stupidity. It's not that I don't remember it. It's that there's so many things I could talk about. And I'm trying to stay on pace with what this movie is, because you're right. It starts off with him trying to end a conspiracy of his garbage being taken because he doesn't understand how garbage, it just, so each week it just happens to be taken and it's a conspiracy each week.
And this was the final straw.
But yeah, when he finally does get to that stupid, arms deal in the middle of
a landfill,
whatever, and he stumbles upon it, and he's just kind of like, they think he's like one of the buyers or something. Fine, whatever. I'll suspend disbelief as much as that goes. But his takeaway, it's like, he's too stupid to realize this is an arms deal. The army is selling arms to terrorist groups at a landfill in this fucking town. But then you go and you have Stanley not even pick up on it. Stanley thinks that the garbage is what's being taken,
merchandise, yeah.
Because Mr. Sender from the post office that he worked at, who steals all the mail because he doesn't know what return to sender means. It's so stupid, man.
It is. So we should touch on that. So Stanley Stupid did have a job at the post office, and when things are addressed incorrectly or illegibly, they come back return to sender, and he thought that was a human.
No, he thought it was the devil at first.
Okay, so
yeah. Don't forget that they have a whole thing where in his imagination it's Christopher Lee and it is Christopher Lee.
The actual Christopher Lee is in this movie, which blew my mind.
And he's playing like the devil in like a suit. It's just Christopher Lee in a red suit, like with devil. How John Landis? What did he do? Did Christopher Lee like need the money, or is it like? Did he hear, oh, it's a John Landis movie? Yeah, I'm definitely in. And it's like, what decade do you think this was?
I don't know, but I guess the crux of it is Stanley Stupid thinks Cinder is behind the garbage stealing conspiracy, and he's going to take over the world by doing what? I don't really remember, or whatever. It's all this stupid supposition and expectation from an idiot, right? Well, it turns out to be that's what's happening. Like Christopher Lee as Mr. Cinder is trying to take over the world by burning people's mail or something. I was like, I don't know what's going on.
It's so stupid. But Christopher Lee showing up there, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, why the hell did you get Christopher Lee in this role? Like, because even another cameo that we didn't even touch on was the postmaster that Stanley worked for when he went to quit, when he realized the big conspiracy of Sender stealing all the mail.
Mm-hmm.
He walks into the postmaster's office and he just quits, and he's like, I know what's going on here. And it's David Cronenberg.
Of all people.
Of all people.
Was like he just around that day or something?
People often argue about like why David Cronenberg showed up in Jason X. My argument is deeper for this. It's like how much did you owe John Landis? Like, remember, the guy the year before this did Beverly Hills Cop 3, and he followed this up with Blues Brothers 2000. It's not like he was having a banner 90s. It's not like it's not like Christopher Lee couldn't be like, oh man, yeah, I saw that last one, and that just wasn't great. It really wasn't. He does like his cameos though, because in Beverly Hills Cop 3, he has George Lucas show up.
Yeah, I don't know, but Christopher Lee, while he's there, he is acting his ass off.
He's doing such a great job.
Very theatrical Christopher Lee kind of way.
It's just the only good acting in this movie. And
it's just unfortunate he had the shittiest, stupidest lines. No jokes. Just confirming that Stanley Stupid wasn't exactly wrong.
Yeah. But then they go on. So like now he explains Sender to the kids and what it is. He and his wife have to go on, and they're investigating this and trying to figure out what's what, while the army is trying to have him assassinated. and that was That's Niedermeyer from Animal House. I'm not crazy, right?
No, that's him.
Yeah, well, but his name in the movie is Colonel Niedermeyer. So I'm wondering if like they played that off and were just like, all right, well, he's Niedermeyer. Like, okay. So are we just bringing that back? Is that how this works now? We can just bring characters back?
Same universe.
I mean, I get John Landis directed both, but yeah, fine. Niedermeyer grew up to want to kill Stanley Stupid. That's literally the worst thing in Animal House. They said Niedermeyer got killed by his own troops in Vietnam.
That's true.
This is a worse ending than that. This is Niedermeyer's ending for this that's like the worst thing you could have done to the guy's character. It's like, just put him in the stupids and make him like trying to assassinate some family
unsuccessfully over and over. Regardless, if every tier of assassin is supposed to be better and more vicious, and they just doesn't work.
Oh, and there is a sender. There is a real Mr. Sender.
Yeah.
Who is another nice old guy who's just trying to get down to, I think he's intertwined with the gun running or something. I don't even 100% know what happened in this movie.
He's like a door-to-door traveling salesman or something, isn't he?
I don't even remember. But no, he was like, no, he was an older guy. Like, I don't know what happened in this movie.
But
I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm piecing things together as we go. I've written notes.
Oh my God, you wasted ink on this?
I was like, well, I mean, I had to remember some of the cameos, but you're speechless. I love it.
I don't know where to go, because I mean, what else can you say? It was just
how about that
dumb joke. All right, that one would have been funny if it wasn't for all these other 30 dumb jokes in the last 10 seconds.
We get this scene where they go into the planetarium and they think they've died.
Right.
And they meet, what was God's name? Lloyd?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Lloyd we trust. So they go into the planetarium, there's stars there's everything. They just sit down and they think they died. They think they're in heaven now. And then a janitor, I guess, or a maintenance man or something named Lloyd comes up. Just I'm watching this like, what are you doing? What is happening? But I guess that's based on one of the books. And one of the books, like, the family blacks out and they think they died. Yeah, that's a children's book.
Awesome, I guess.
Kids, it's time to understand death. And the stupids will teach you. I cannot see this movie doing well in any hands. I don't know any director that could make this movie work.
Me either. Like, it couldn't. It couldn't be made again, I don't think, and that's a good thing.
No.
Unless they made it like super dark. Like, have you seen these TikToks where they take children's board games and like make them horror posters?
Yes, I have seen that.
Like, maybe that would be interesting. If they didn't stupidly luck into everything and there were some consequences for these jackwads.
I just, you watch this stupid show, you watch a stupid movie, and you go on and you're like, they piece this together. I don't know how they piece this together. Because I've read children's books. They have a narrative beginning, middle, and end. Like, I'm hoping those books do, if they made 3 of them and they were that popular. But what the hell were you thinking when you made this movie? There's just, because then you get into, again, it was being stupid for the sake of being stupid. Fine. Like, you're calling it the stupids and you want to be ridiculous. I don't have that problem with absurdity. My problem is you still have to have the absurdity make sense to the people watching in a narrative sense.
Mm-hmm.
This didn't do that at all.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. Who's doing movies like that now? Like, every few years, something just completely bizarre comes out. Tom Green was doing stuff for a while.
Freddy got fingered, but even Freddy got fingered. As ridiculous of a movie as that is, the comedy lands because there's a through line, story there. He's just going to get from point A to point B. Don't get me wrong. I watch it. I'm like, when he screams out Japanese 4, while he's running through the lobby. Like, those are the jokes I'm talking about that like in this movie, like it should have landed, but it didn't land because that's the ridiculousness. But you understand why he's doing it.
Right.
Like, he's just thinks that being this distraction will get him where he needs to go. In this movie, they don't do that.
There's no awareness to it, right? There's no reasoning. They just are dumb.
They're just dumb for the sake of being dumb, and it's ridiculous and stupid, and not in a good way. You know what bugged me the most is that stupid song was stuck in my head. That my own grandpa, I am my own grandpa. After that, I just kept singing it, and I'm like, it makes sense because it's a catchy song.
Yeah, it's a pop song waiting to happen. Hopefully, it never does.
That's the only thing that I think did work in this was that one scene with that song. Like, they get stuck. Like, they are exactly the family that should show up on like a Jerry Springer type show. So when they do, you're like, this makes a little sense to me. And the fact that he gets on by saying that and then singing the song, I was like, all right, this is the only thing that works, because they have to do this to get to their goal. And then once they get to their goal, it's a complete wash. They're done. And they completely gave up on it. Not gave up on it, but like the story no longer makes sense because it's just kind of like, yeah, we'll see what happens. This had to be a writer's worst nightmare to work on. This is truly, who wrote this? James Marshall wrote this? Oh no, he wrote the characters. The children's writer. I'm like, he wrote the characters. Dude, the guy who produced The Office wrote this.
For real?
Yeah, he produced Space Force. He just produced a lot of stuff.
Space Force.
The Office.
That's Steve Carell too, right?
Yeah, I guess he learned his lesson. By the time he got there, like, he's gonna listen to this randomly, and he's just gonna be like, "Fuck you guys."
Right. I love that movie. You know, I wonder how people that were in the movie and associated with the movie feel about it today, because you may remember we had Matthew Modine here in town about 3 years ago. Before we met, yeah. And he was in a movie you may recall with Gina Davis.
Yeah, the most amazing pirate movie ever made.
Please tell me you're being Stanley stupid right now. That movie was the biggest piece of shit, second only to The Stupids. That was a horrible movie, and it had big stars in it, lots of money, amazing sets. It was just bad. And for the Modine, Full Metal Modine, or whatever the Alamo called their thing, they showed that, and I was like, I got to ask him, why would you let that happen? And I didn't, because, you know, I would like to be friends with Matthew Modine and not push him away by saying, hey, that movie fucking sucked. But he talked about it at length and how much fun it was and how good a time he had that they had making it, and, you know, and how all the people that love it or whatever. I don't know anyone at all who's ever seen that who liked it. And I'm a mark for pirate movies and sailing.
Yeah, you know, for me it was I don't remember it well enough to say if I liked it or did. I mean, I'm sure I didn't, because I never watched it again. And I've watched the Pirates of the Caribbean movies again. So that's my correlation, I guess, is like, all right, this works or doesn't work if I want to watch it again.
Yeah.
Clearly Cutthroat Island was one that just did not work for me at all.
One and done.
And for sure.
So you watched the Stupids to do this show, right? To do Plot Roast.
I did.
Because your patron Mike?
No, this was Paul who gave us this one.
Paul. Thank you, patron Paul. Mostly kidding, Paul. Mostly kidding.
There's a piece there, though. There's a piece, Paul, where we watch this and we feel a little drained for having done it.
Makes my heart sad.
But, you know, the thing about this one is, like, I'm actually kind of glad I did watch it. The only reason I say that is because, for me, I don't even remember knowing this movie. I remember, like, kind of remember trailers, stuff like that on television, but not going to see it. Didn't really know anything about it. So having been able to watch it and realize just how fucking terrible a director in the 90s John Landis was, just it landed perfectly for me. I needed to know that. You know, Blues Brothers 2000 and Beverly Hills Cop 3 did not answer those questions for me. The stupids clearly came and did. No, this movie was stupid. This movie was ridiculous on many levels, and the aliens are what pissed me off the most.
Well, I think it was a little bit of a bait and switch to some extent, right? Because people probably saw those claymation pets and the aliens and stuff, and it's like, all right, this is going to be, I don't know, something other than it was. And then those things were barely in it.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder. I almost want to ask for the Landis cut just to see if, like, what's your cut of this movie? Are there more aliens to it or less? What's
the Landis cut?
Oh my God. Did you know? I don't know. I doubt you knew because I didn't know. And not that you don't know things I don't know. It's a shitty thing to say.
I won't take that as a slight. Don't worry.
I meant about this movie. Like, if you didn't know it, like, and I'm just finding out about it, probably chances are we didn't know much about this movie. Tim Allen and Jack Nicholson were both considered for the role of Stanley Stupid.
Well, considered is one thing. Like,
but here's my question. Tim Allen, in my opinion, is a much better comedian.
I agree.
And at that time, he was top form. So, like, I'm wondering, under one of them, would this movie have been better?
I don't know. I don't think so because, I mean, you see those Tim Allen Santa Claus movies, The Santa Claus or whatever it's called. You know, the goofiness in that and stuff. I don't think that really works either. So I just don't think this movie, in my opinion, I'll say is salvageable by recasting it. But, you know, I'm looking at the comments right now on this YouTube posting of it, and they are like the first one. Hello, Vivian. This movie made my childhood. Watching it now is even more hilarious. 79 thumbs ups to that comment. Listen to this one. This one's a little long, and then I won't read more comments. The irony is that this is actually one of the smartest (parentheses) and most original (close parentheses) comedies ever. What? I guess it just went over the people's heads. They don't make comedies like this anymore. Now slapstick and profanity is the way to go. Now that is really stupid. And it's got and it's got a bunch of likes.
Like, again, I mentioned the nuanced comedy that's in there. I get it. I saw it. But it just doesn't land because of all the ridiculous slapstick that this stupid movie has. Like,
yeah,
that makes no sense with it. Like, again, that rollerblade joke under better cutting, better editing, I should say better editing, you know, and played by an actor who is a little more convincing and maybe a better director, that rollerblade joke should have landed.
So many maybes.
So many there. Well, but there's so many factors. Like, I'm telling you, if you had it in my vision, and I'm not saying I'm a better director than John Landis, maybe like in the 90s, like he might have gotten better. But he was good in the 80s. I wouldn't murder anybody though. So get that helicopter out of here. I'm not Kubrick.
Jesus Christ.
So here we go. Hey, this is Patreon. Nobody gives a shit.
Your show, buddy. Your show.
This YouTube version's not going to have this part in it. This is for the patrons only. But I'm telling you, under a better actor, especially a better comedic actor, and better timed and edited in a certain way, that rollerblade joke would have landed perfectly. Like, him running back and doing that and, like, cut in between, like, make it a little more thrilling. And then instead of pretending, like, showing him from here up, moving like this, like he's on the bike, he chose. We know he didn't. The eye line landed on the blades. So immediately cut to him, like, a football field away from the garbage truck trying to catch up. Like, there's your stupidity. I don't know. What do I know? I'm just forgetting.
I don't know. I think maybe the stupidest part of this whole movie is that the script was presented by a producer to John Landis, and he said yes.
Honestly, I really think that's not that stupid. See, he was Mr. Cash Grab, and I hate to fuck with the guy who made the Blues Brothers. I hate to fuck with the guy who did Animal House and some of my favorite movies. Trading Places. The man directed Thriller. But I like, as we go on and like you get out of, I mean, most of my favorite movies from the 80s were directed by him. Coming to America, Three Amigos, tons of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you get in the 90s, and his top movies, his only movies from the 90s are Oscar, the Sylvester Stallone movie,
mm-hmm.
Innocent Blood. Have you ever heard of Innocent Blood?
No idea what that is.
Case in point. Beverly Hills Cop 3, The Stupids, Blues Brothers 2000. And that's it. Those are his movies. Oh, and Susan's Plan. So, like, 2 you've never heard of in your life. And the rest are like, come on, man. What are you doing to us? Like, and The Stupids we only heard of because, it was recommended. We could have gone on without doing that for good times.
Yeah, I could have watched any of those other movies you just described 10 times for just because, in lieu of doing this. So,
yeah, but the whole thing as it goes through and you get to it defies its own logic. It defies its own, and that's why to me it just didn't work. The fact that like he does get captured and then haphazardly gets out and escapes, and then like comes down the flagpole, and then like the other guys now stop. Like none of it. It's stupid. I have to just I get flustered when I start trying to make logic of illogical things, and then it just like I'm like, what did you do to me?
Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure Casey caught COVID on purpose so he didn't have to watch this movie.
Smart man. He just keeps a little vial of it around, swabs himself. I got COVID. I don't feel good.
He went out to a supermarket and he's like, everyone lick me. It's this or I have to watch The Stupids, and like 30 people ran at him.
No, don't watch The Stupids. Lick.
But I hate little comments like you just gave before from YouTube, or I forget where you caught it from, but
it was YouTube.
To say like people just don't understand. Like, yeah, no, there's a lot of people who understand comedy, and you can like the silliness of this. You can make you laugh. That might be what you're into. It's fine. It's not, but it's not the norm. It's not like, I don't know. I hate when people are like, well, listen, comedy comes, art and all this comes in all forms. It's like, yeah, but sometimes you're just smearing shit on a wall. Yeah,
exactly. Sometimes you're doing chimpanzee finger paint.
Yeah. And you're doing it for the reason that you shit on a wall. Like, that's how you're selling it. You're selling the shit on the wall. And fine. If the art world wants to let you sell it, make your money. Make your money off the Stupids, but it ain't art.
No, it ain't art. It's not good. No, the direction, it looks like a movie, so I guess the cinematography is fine, but the writing, the direction, the editing, all of it, the rest of it is bad, real bad. There are people, I'm really good at holding grudges. I have grudges against people from like 3rd grade that I will never see again. I don't know if they're alive or dead. I have my hopeful preference of where they are, but I wouldn't wish this on them. I just wouldn't. No.
Come on.
Nope.
You can wish this on a lot of people. Actually, this might be the movie that I go to from now on for people I don't like. This might be where I go and I'm just like, hey, you're the movie guy. Give me a movie recommendation. Yeah, The Stupids from 1996 or whatever it is. Have fun.
And then I think that's a bad move because, right? So believe it or not, people value your opinion on movies, and then they're going to think, well, if Mick Manhattan likes this, I'm clearly missing something, and it's going to get traction, and it's going to become a fucking cult classic, and I'm not going to ever see this in a theater.
Oh my God! Can we please make a whole thing where like we get the Alamo to show this for a week? Can we make that our April Fool's prank for next year?
I like that concept. It's gotta be a different movie though.
Why? We don't have to go see it.
Charge $15 a head, right? Say Tom Arnold's going to be there, right? We'll dig up Christopher Lee.
Oh my God. People would come out for that.
And then the lights will go down. The Alamo will do its and then it'll just roll April Fools.
Oh my God. You know what would be even better? If we sell it by saying it's the best Christopher Lee movie ever made.
Oh, mystery screening.
A mystery screening is what the Would you like to watch a movie with Christopher Lee, David Cronenberg, and more? It's just like, come to our mystery screening.
God. Well, yeah, all those movie nerds would like what's the app? I can't think of the app right now.
But no, what you do
IMDb Pro. They had IMDb Pro and say, what movie is that? Oh, no, we're not doing that.
What you do is you get the official print of the movie to show. And then you invite everybody in that had something to do with making this movie. You don't sell it to anybody else so that everybody's there. And then, have you ever seen the end of Inglourious Bastards?
Mm-hmm.
You see where I'm going with this.
You must elaborate.
Listen, this is a show. Can't be elaborating too highly. No, listen, I am a firm believer of always trying to look for the good in movies, even when they're bad. Something. I always try to find something. So what am I going to find for this one?
You said some of the jokes are,
some of the jokes would be better in better hands. I wonder if they reused any of these for The Office. Because I feel like you know what? I'm glad he went to write for The Office. I don't want to see if any of like these jokes landed, because if Michael Scott were Stanley Stupid, this would have worked better. Now, I'm not saying the movie overall. I'm just saying that character.
Well, Steve Carell's Michael Scott has a believable ignorance.
Yeah.
Like it was just too much. It was too far stupid, too far absurd, too far naive, And that was the other part of it too, is like they didn't think they were stupid. They don't think they're stupid. They think they're on it. It's just, I hated this movie so much. And I knew I was going to.
And even at the end, like when they finally get home and he's hiding in there, like, first of all, he's a gunman. He's a trained Army colonel, and he has them in his sights. He's hiding behind the door, first of all. And then he come in and he's got him. And then he just gets knocked out by getting hit by the door like 4 times. He couldn't move over. His feet aren't longer than his face. Like, I don't know do you lean forward when you have a gun?
It's heavy, or it's top heavy, so you gotta lean down. But so what they didn't show was the cartoon version of his toes being curled up when the door opened the first time, so the door could make it all the way to his face.
Oh my God. So stupid. And then you're not even done. It's not even the end, because after that, now he's barbecuing and the aliens show up to kill him. I don't even remember what happens to them. I think he burns them.
I was so checked out by then. I was just like, please, credits roll. Credits roll. He was talking to the neighbor over the fence or something, and then the aliens came, and the dog is like trying to get his attention or something, and then like he never sees them, I think is the case. They get set on fire, they take off, and the dog is just like, what can I do?
So stupid. And that is the stupid thing. I'm not even going to subject you to any more of our joking review. So over.
I'm serious. I'm serious. This is not a joke.
So overall, Brian, would you say that you would recommend this movie to anybody?
No, to no one.
I would not either. But I do want to thank you, Paul, for putting it in our attention. We checked it out. Thank you for letting us joke about it and having some fun with it.
Did Paul like this, or is he punishing us?
I I hope he liked it. I think he
You know what I mean?
did.
Like, I mean, because we're like severely poo-pooing on this. It might be like his beloved childhood flick. You know, it might be his. It might be his. I don't know. What's the one with the flying dog thing? Never Ending Story or something. You know,
well,
which
hate
doesn't hold up.
I hate that movie too. Everybody's like defends it to hell, and I'm like, come on, there's so many better even fantasy movies from that time, but we'll get there. But I asked Paul as I was watching the movie. I texted him and I was like, listen, is this one that you like is like beloved to you that you really love? Because if his answer was yes, I wasn't gonna do this. I couldn't do it to him.
Thank you for your patronage.
Yes,
we're not gonna honor your request. Is that how Patreon works? I need to start a Patreon.
We should put Pulling Focus on the Patreon.
Dude, what do you want us to talk about? Yeah, we're not talking about that.
We're not talking about that. We'll pick apart the stupids. No, we won't. Not anymore. We did it once. So, like, listen, Paul, I can appreciate you liking this movie, and clearly, you know, with the comments being read, people do appreciate this movie. I don't think the two of us did very much. So, but keep them coming. Keep the requests coming. Let's see what else you guys got. We want to check them out. Go check out the stupids for yourself. That's all I'll say. Because, you know, you may like it, you may not. Who knows?
Or don't.
Or don't. I mean, I can give you a list of other things to watch if you want. And no, comedies. I'll just stick with comedies. But yeah, that is our plot roast for this episode where we talked about the stupids. I want to thank my very special guest, who I'm sure you will see again, Mr. Brian Patrick. Check us out on Pulling Focus Podcast. It's a lot of fun. Down in the description below is SkylineIndieFilmFest.org, where we are, and we're on all podcast platforms. So go check that out. We have a lot of fun. We get to movies eventually, but we talk about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like we're debating a new name for the show. Lack of Focus is a high contender, and ADH Dads is another.
Well, my wife says to me, she goes, "You got," because I told her about Arkham Horror, and like I was telling, you know, we were playing a board game, which we have to continue, by the way.
Yeah,
I have not lost interest. I'm really into it.
Well, I've continued playing all 4 characters, and things aren't going well.
Oh no, I gotta get back over there. So my wife was like, "You should have a thing where you play board games, and you should call it Board Games of Bullshit, where we just bullshit during a board game."
Oh hell yeah, sign me up. I'm down for that.
I'll bring the recorder over, and we can just do it while we play.
I'm there.
That'd be fun.
This is a 6-hour game. You're coming in at hour 4.5.
We have like 5 episodes this season. Every season's like a different board game. Yeah. But we're also, I might be able to get Casey and Gerard in on it with us, and we can get this game actually going. But
yeah, that'd be fun.
This is just us. This is us on Pulling Focus. We just talk about whatever comes. We just gave you a small
can't
snippet.
End the show. We can't end the show.
We just keep talking. So check us out over on Pulling Focus Podcast. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus, but we're coming back strong. We have some more stuff to talk about, so join us there. It's always a good time. Brian, thank you so much for joining in, man.
Hey, my pleasure. I appreciate you inviting me, man.
All right. Well, hopefully we can get you back for more. But guys, until next time, I'm Mick Manhattan. Check us out. Check out the Scene Snobs everywhere. You know where to follow. Go to thescenesnobs.com for all your links and more. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody. I'm the Scene Snob, Mick Manhattan. You can check out the Scene Snobs podcast live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel or all podcast platforms afterwards. Also on our YouTube channel, you can check out great shows like Real Combat, the ultimate debate show for movie lovers, mixed movie picks with new recommendations every week, Geek Fest Live every Sunday night, and new movie reviews and news all the time. Like and subscribe, then hit the notification bell so you know when all of our new episodes drop. Thank you so much to all of our amazing Patreon supporters, with whom this would not be possible. They help keep the lights on and support us in such big ways. If you would like to become a supporter on our Patreon and take advantage of all the perks like monthly giveaways, early access, and so much more, head on over to the Scene Snobs Patreon page and just sign up on one of our 2 tiers. Join our awesome community of geeks, movie lovers, and so much more, and join up on our Discord. The Scene Snobs Discord is now live, and you can head over to thescenesnobs.com for links to there and more. The Scene Snobs merch store is now open with original fun designs that are available on all
all different types of merch and apparel. Check out thescenesnobsmerch.com. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media accounts like TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and so many more. We have fun updates, topics, we talk about collectibles, and so much more on there. It's a great time. You can find all of our links to everything on thescenesnobs.com or on our link tree, which are down in the descriptions below. Thanks again, everyone. Stay tuned and stay geeky.